Today at shopdap.com, we're going to bring our crusty old Scirocco paint back to life. If you're not familiar, this 84 Scirocco I purchased in Atlanta. We drove it down to Florida with Charles, the home mechanic, to the shop of Jamie from Elite Motorworks, and in 3 days, attempted to swap the engine and get back home. While we were working on this car, there was a lot of discussion as to whether we could bring the paint back to life on the car. Now, someone like myself who's been around cars for a while, I do know that this car has single stage paint. Most often people like me who are armchair quarterbacks like to say, hey, that means you can bring it back to life. I don't actually know what that means or how to actually execute it, which is why we talked to a professional to help us execute this attempt so we didn't ruin the paint on this car for good. Okay, so the Scirocco, we are going to be bringing it back, restoring it, but the paint on this car, as I, not a non-expert, said, single stage paint, should be able to restore it, but I don't have the skills, so I'm going to bring in Neil. So Neil's business is detailing, specifically cars that are classic cars, a lot of different things, everyday cars as well, but you can see behind us is a Grand National. That thing is in amazing shape. He does a lot of restoration stuff. So he's going to look over this car and talk about what needs to happen to try to make the best of the paint that's on this car.
I mean, I would start by walking around and looking at the car. So, I mean, the first thing I want to do is get a car in, get it underneath the lights, sort of start looking at some of these lines here. It appears this car has been buffed, maybe by somebody else. This could be sun damage, just, thin paint. But what I like to do is just sort of, clean a spot. Sometimes we'd take it outside, do like a decontamination bath. Maybe clay bar if it feels rough. I say we take some waterless wash, we wash a few spots, and then take a paint thickness gauge and start from there and see what we're working with. And this is our waterless wash. We spent 5 years coming up with this. It's a polymer base. So when you're spraying it, the polymer separates the dirt from the paint and allows you to wipe the dirt off the top of the paint. I think it's going to be a good before and after. What I like about classic cars is being able to show them for what they are. You could take and wrap this car, you could paint it, you could do a lot of things, but classics right now is showing the patina and showing what they are, letting people sort of see it for its age. But there's your dirt coming off with the waterless wash. I'm gonna just take another rag. This is just a normal cheap paint thickness gauge, which anybody can buy. So you're at like 2.3 mils of paint on the hood, which is very little. You can see this line where somebody's buffed it, sun damage, years of washing and wiping. And you get over here on the side, you start getting a little bit more paint. We're up into 3.5.
A paint thickness gauge is something that is pretty standard, I think, probably in the body shop business or in the detailing business like what Neil does, but is not something I would have known to do. It clearly is important for the fact that you need to know how much paint is there available to know how much to remove or how much is available to be removed before you actually get down to primer. That way, you don't destroy the entire car just to try to make it look a little better than it completely goes all the way through the paint.
So here we're at 20, what is that, 26 or 29? I can't see it from my side.
29.
29. So we've actually got some Bondo or something here. So we know we've had some, so you're not getting anything. So
because there's Bondo?
There's probably Bondo in this fender, 36. It really looks like the whole car is probably painted at one time. Because you can see it, there's literally, see, 0.7.
On the white, that's just primer?
Yeah.
Okay, so Neil taped off all these trim pieces here, and the reason why he did that is because when he goes to buff it, he doesn't want to start to tear into any trim, plastic, or anything like that around there. So he has everything taped off, and then when he comes back through, he should be good to get all these edges clean. So the reason why we're working with Neil, other than he's an amazing guy and a very talented detailer, his shop is right next door to ours. It's like 3 doors down. So if you know where we are, that's where Neil is.
A lot of people use these compound pads. I think this is going to cut way too much when we don't have a whole lot of paint there to work with. So we're going to go with a softer compound pad and see what that'll do. Looks pretty good. But you see how thin it is here? You can see.
Oh, the white coming through.
Yeah, you're seeing more of this starting to shine up, which shows some of the patina and the age of the car. What is this car? It's 84. Was that 30?
37 years old.
37 years old. I'm not good at math. I'm good at detailing.
Okay, so this is what he's talking about when he's saying thin paint. This area where it's white here, where the paint is basically gone, that's what's happening here. So the paint here is so thin that it's actually starting to come through. And so if you go too deep, this will look like this. Neil's got a little bit of the hood done, this small area. It looks amazing compared to what it was, considering this car looked like it was plasti dipped orange. I think by the time he's done here, this thing's gonna look pretty good.
That's the best looking spot on the car, like I thought.
Yeah, it's pretty freaking awesome to me. He can spend 30 minutes working on this car so far, and these spots that look horrible, they look amazing. It's incredible.
Put a compound on a rag and just get in there, work it in. They make machines, and small machines, big machines, but sometimes just elbow grease and just get in there.
I think this car is gonna look awesome when he's done. Okay, so these bumpers, when we were down at Jamie's shop, he torched them to kind of bring them back a little bit to life, but Neil has some insight about that can help you understand what's going on there.
That's a method for making plastic look good, but what you do when you heat it up, even though it makes it shiny, it's taking all the UV out of it. So what we like to do is use something that's actually a trim restore, something that's gonna last 6 months to a year, maybe longer, dressing with a dye in it. So you're actually dyeing the plastics back like they're supposed to be. And you would just clean them first and then take a dye and just dye them back, which is a heck of a lot easier than heating them up. And you're gonna have something that's gonna stay for a long time. And you just work that in.
It looks like a million times better.
It looks like a brand new mirror.
It makes me want to just take that and just like put it on everything like this.
Which is what we'll do when we're done. We'll trim out all this kind of stuff in it as well.
Yeah.
This piece. After we're done with the paint, we'll tape up the paint and then we'll do all this trim. So when you got this line down here, it's like, what do you do? Because this is all rust, it's paint's flaking off. What I would recommend is taking and doing all this in black. So maybe like some bed liner material or some textured black paint. And I would come from here down and I would just put black on it, which will trim it all out with the bumpers and everything. It wasn't like that from the factory, but it would look good. And then we can bring all this back to life and that'll fix that problem down there.
So Neil also does a lot of really cool cars, and you can see he's got a bunch of older stuff around here.
So this is a 56 Chevrolet. It's got an LS3 in it, so a little bit modern motor, you know, modern transmission, everything. This is a 60 Starliner. This is the widest car that Ford ever built. It's still today the widest car.
Oh my gosh.
That's wild.
And that's a 4.6 liter single overhead cam. The Cadillac, that's my play toy, my daily driver. You could probably fit 3 of the Audis or Volkswagens that y'all are fans of in the trunk of it. Maybe you're in that parking spot, but that's a 63 with 42,000 original miles. So yeah, it's just some fun cars and love playing with them. I tell you, we do a lot of high-end exotics and a lot of older cars. Why I don't like doing new cars as much as the old cars is because it comes in clean, it leaves clean. You know, you take this as a customer's car. You know, when me and Paul was talking about, like, we didn't know what it would do, what would come back, and what would it look like. I mean, you start to see this car come to life, and this is the kind of stuff you can talk about. So we're going to put a good coat of sealant on this to protect all the hard work we just did. And this should bring out the last final step and just really make it shine and look good and protect it.
Oh, hi.
Let's see what we got. From here, it already looks amazing. That is incredible. It looks awesome.
So the roof of the hood is still a little plasti, I guess, up in here, but without
Yeah,
getting tons more of that, it's like, where do you
You
stop?
can't, well, yeah, you can't get too deep into that, right?
Yeah.
Because then once you open that can of worms, it'll never go away. I think you killed it. It's remarkably better, and certainly it's actually smooth to the touch. I didn't expect it to be even half of this good. I was just hoping it would be slightly shiny and not matte anymore. And he was able to make it look like this.
Yeah, so I say we take it outside and see some sunlight on it. We've got really good LED lights in here, but sometimes if I can make a car look really good in here, it looks really good outside. So this shows a lot more than what sunlight does. So
Oh my gosh.
How's it look?
Oh my god, dude, it looks so much better out here.
Oh wow, that's wild. Dude, it looks awesome. So Neil absolutely killed it on the car in my opinion, but he wanted to go even further to make this thing absolutely the best he possibly could. Unfortunately, because of time constraints, what he did was all we could actually fit in at that moment. We had Wookiees in the Woods to go to. We will have another video coming soon with that stuff. I think this car looks amazing. Thanks so much to Neil. We will link to his shop in the description where you can check him out. And thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more like it.